It looks like a special effect, a swollen white orb the size of a medicine ball. We are in Kagoshima, Japan, standing directly in the shadow of one of the world's most active volcanoes. Most plants would suffocate under the constant rain of toxic ash that falls here daily. Yet, in this gray, desolate landscape, farmers are pulling literal monsters out of the ground. This is the Sakurajima Daikon, the Guinness World Record holder for the heaviest radish on Earth. Some weigh as much as a small child, tipping the scales at over 30 kilograms. But how? How does a wasteland of volcanic debris produce a biological miracle of this magnitude? Sakurajima is not sleeping. It erupts hundreds of times every single year, sending plumes of smoke thousands of meters up. For the residents, the day doesn't start with a weather forecast. It starts with an ash forecast. The volcano looms like a temperamental god, constantly spewing a gray blanket over the crops. Most agriculture relies on stability, but here, chaos is the only constant. If you were to dig your hands into the ground here, you feel glass. The soil is composed almost entirely of Shirasu, a thick layer of pumice and volcanic ash. It is incredibly porous. To a rice farmer, this terrain would be an absolute nightmare. Water drains away almost instantly, leaving thirsty roots to wither and die in the harsh sun. So why are we here? Why commit to land that tries to bury you every afternoon? The answer is that this hostile environment is actually a perfect, accidental laboratory for gigantism. The very things that make this land uninhabitable for delicate crops are the exact ingredients required to build a monster. We are looking at a specific biological adaptation to a volcanic substrate. The Sakurajima radish didn't just happen. It was forged by the fire. Let's analyze the mechanics. When we look at a standard radish, we see a plant fighting against the earth. In dense clay, a root has to expend massive energy just to push the soil aside. It is a constant, physical battle for space. But here, the battle is rigged. The volcanic Shirasu soil is granular and incredibly lightweight. It offers almost zero physical resistance to the expanding root. It is like growing in popcorn. Because the soil yields so easily, the radish doesn't waste energy on displacement. Instead, it channels every ounce of caloric energy into pure, unadulterated bulk. This lack of friction allows the cells to undergo rapid hypertrophy. expanding outward at a rate that would be impossible in heavier soils. But structure is only half the equation. We also have to talk about the chemistry. The soil composition itself is rich in essential minerals leached from the magma deep below. We are talking about a potassium superdose. Potassium is the key driver of root development and water regulation within plant tissues. In most zones, farmers buy this in bags. Here, the mountain delivers it for free. However, there is a catch. The soil drains water so fast that the plant should technically die of thirst. So the radish evolved a countermeasure. If you slice a Sakurajima radish open, the texture is distinct. It is not woody or fibrous. It is dense, fine-grained, and shockingly wet. The cellular matrix has adapted to act like a biological sponge, aggressively hoarding moisture during the brief periods of rain to survive the dry spells. It is a living water tank. We observe that the sugar content is also unusually high. This isn't just for flavor. High osmotic pressure from sugars helps the plant retain water against the dry volcanic gradient. It is a perfect feedback loop. The loose soil allows the size, the mineral richness fuels the growth, and the water stress forces density. Genetics alone is not enough. If you plant these seeds in Tokyo or California, they will grow large, certainly. But they will not become monsters. The anomaly requires the volcano. It is a phenomenon botanists call the G/E interaction, genotype by environment. The genetic potential is unlocked specifically by the stress and the unique structural freedom of this ash field. You cannot fake this terroir. Big agriculture is usually automated. But here, on the slopes of the volcano, technology hits a wall. Despite their monstrous size and weight, these giants are paradoxically fragile. The skin is as smooth and white as porcelain. One slip of a metal claw, and the value is destroyed. Imagine the physics of this task. You are standing on loose, shifting gravel. You wrap your arms around the base of a plant that weighs as much as a heavy suitcase. Heave. You twist. You twing. You This is a dying art. The real struggle happens months prior, during the growth phase. Remember the ash? When the volcano erupts, the gray dust coats the broad green leaves. If left alone, this layer blocks the sunlight. Photosynthesis stops. So the farmers must wash the plants. We have to come out here every day to gently rinse this ash off the crops. If they scrub too hard, they damage the cells. If they don't scrub enough, the plant starves. They are acting as the lungs for the vegetable, clearing its airway so it can breathe. The risk is astronomical. A major eruption could wipe out a season. Yet they return, season after season. When a farmer hoists that massive wet orb, they aren't just carrying a vegetable. They are carrying the weight of the mountain. We are taught to fear the fire. Human civilization usually retreats from active volcanoes. But the story of the Sakurajima Radish challenges that instinct. In the comfort of a greenhouse, this plant would be ordinary. It requires the threat of the ash and the poverty of the soil to unlock its true potential. The Sakurajima Daikon is living proof that biological greatness is often a direct response to environmental stress. Adversity is not an error. It's an input. The farmers do not fight the mountain. They partner with it. They have found life in the blast zone. And in doing so, they have cultivated a monster that reminds us of a simple, powerful truth. Sometimes, the hardest ground yields the biggest fruit. Nature rarely follows our rules. If you want to join us for the next expedition into extreme agriculture, make sure you are subscribed. Let us know in the comments what other botanical giants should we investigate next.